Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Tarot Spinning, and today we're going to do something a bit different. Today we're going to start doing, on a Wednesday for the time being, we're going to start looking at learning the tarot. And of course this is going to be from my perspective and how, after I learnt in a traditional sense, like doing a course, and then having played around and having used them on and off for 25 odd years, I'm going to put my spin on it. So this is my opinion only, just clarifying that up front. So might not resonate with everyone, and that's fine. If it doesn't feel like it's right, well, that's okay too. Suit of Cups, well, straight away it's the emotions. So the Suit of Cups is all to do with the water energy and emotional energy, being it's a cup. These, in the way they're read, they're always read as an emotional situation, and as we go through into other decks I'll explain what they are. Won't confuse you with them now, just stick to the subject for what we're looking at. We're starting out with the Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Three of Cups. They're the first three off, and we've got the fourth here, so we'll just pop it there near the ball. But the Ace of Cups always brings in, it sort of goes back to the Holy Grail a bit. So it's like something you've been wishing for, something you wanted. It's the beginning. It's usually the start of something, the beginning of something, and it's all overflowing with emotion. So, and that little dove coming in too, it sort of just helps play out that whole moment, you know, that it's all coming in and it's all a bit of a wonderful thing. So when you see that in a read, Ace of Cups, I only read upright, by the way. Some people do the reverse. Yeah, I just read upright, and depending where it's sitting and what it's with, you can pick whether it's which way the energy's running, but we won't get into that right now. We'll just keep jumping through the cards. Then we've got the Two of Cups. So you follow from the Ace to the Two. And the Two of Cups, as it depicts in the picture here, is a bit of a union. And it's usually, it can be and usually is romantic, but sometimes it's the artist and the muse. Can be friends. It can be the start of something like a friendship or a romance. It sort of looks very much like, and it's always got that Hermes staff there, which is like healing and to do with health and vitality. So the Two of Cups, because depending where it sits in a reading too, it sort of comes back to a bit of a romance card, but it doesn't have to always be romantic. It can be just having somebody that's a friend on equal terms, or a friend that you have a lot of healing and fun with. Like they get you. They're really good energy to be around, really good fun. Then we go to the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is usually a bit of a celebration, as you see the blonde, the brunette and the redhead. They're always depicted with these three ladies with like they're dancing in a circle. And it's usually a success or a bit of a celebration, and it's usually to do with a bit of achievement or a bit of an emotional situation that's come through it, because these are all running on emotion. It's coming through with that, celebrating something that's come up and something that's come into play. And it can be getting together and having some fun with people. It can be sort of, like going out, having a night out, or going out with the girls, the guys, or whoever. And all eat, drink and be merry. It's got that feeling, that card, where I think they get a bit carried away, but that's what you want. Then we go on to the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups is the guy sitting under the tree. He's got three cups in front of him, and the fourth cup's being handed like there's a bit of divine, because it's coming in from the clouds again with that little hand, divine intervention coming in again with that Four of Cups. And he's not willing to bother. That energy, that emotion is shut down. You shut down your, just like his body language reads there. He's got his arms folded and his legs folded, and he's virtually got his lip hanging out, so he's huffing. It's like he's having a bit of a huff. And it's usually, it's a bit of boredom, a bit of uncertainty, and instead of sort of dealing with the emotion of being uncertain, they tend to sit there and just do nothing. So they're not wanting to go forwards, backwards, up or down. They're wanting just to sit there and do nothing. And it's usually it's a personal emotional situation inside this person that they've got whatever's coming in around them and whatever's setting into feeling like this, because they're all feeling the cup cards, they're all emotion. He's not feeling very confident, and that's the underlying issue. So at the end of the day, he needs to get up and get out of his own funk, if you know what I mean. Like, he needs to move and get and do something and get himself back on track. He's just sitting there and he's not moving forward or back. He's just virtually sulking, but it's not really to do with sulking. It's more to do with being the deeper feeling of being uncertain and low self-confidence in this situation that it's sitting in, whatever's come up around them that's made them feel like that. So it's usually a learning or a healing card, because they're going to, once they start breaking out of this situation, they start learning or feeling and getting past that sort of emotion. And then we go on to the Five of Cups, which is quite a bit of a bleak looking card when you look at it. It's got the person, the black cloak on. They're virtually all cloaked in their coat, and they've got the head down, so they look all a bit woeful. And it's just a disappointment. It's a bit of heartache and a bit of disappointment, but like any emotion, it'll wash through and go. And something's been lost. They've got 3 cups tipped over. There is 2 cups still here, but they're mourning the loss of these 3 cups here. And it usually just comes back to something around them just failed to work or failed to go the way they had their heart set on something, and it just didn't work out the way they wanted it to. And it is another bit of a learning thing. Goes from the 4 to the 5, and they've both got that energy of learning and healing. Once they get through this, they'll have, next time, they won't be the same reaction in the situation, even though the 5 of Cups means what it means, which is just a bit of disappointment and upset. Then you have the 6 of Cups, and it's usually to do with your childhood or someone from the past coming back. And in this, it shows a couple of children, they're out picking flowers or potting flowers in cups, whatever they're mucking around with. But this always depicts that somebody from your childhood, someone from your past, someone that meant a lot to you. It could be a family member, it could be a long-lost friend, a lover, somebody that, if they're coming back in around you, or if it's not that, it actually can also mean that you could ask somebody around you, an old contact, if you're in a situation and you think, oh, I really need some help. You could look back and think back when you were younger and go, oh, I know who could help me. This good friend of mine from so-and-so, I could bring him up and ask him to give me a hand. He owes me a favour. It's a bit of that feeling too, a bit of that trying to help yourself out of it's not what you know, it's who you know sort of vibe. Then we got the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups is all those cups have got choices in them. Every cup's got a choice. And every single choice can take you down a different path and a different direction. And this is the person standing there virtually going, which way do I go? What do I do? The energy is running a bit erratic, and they're not really sure. And the trick here is to not rush in and pick anything straight away, because some of them is just like fairy dust. It'll all just, disappear. None of this energy is very contrary. It's all like it's up in the clouds. As you can see, it's all up in the air above them. So the pictures will help you when all these cards paint pictures. So when you look at, if you want to start reading the tarot, the best bet would be to go and get the original deck. You don't have to, but go and get the original deck and start learning and using it, because it's going to start teaching you each card as you see it that, oh, that's right, because the pictures will help show you what that card's meaning. And then we go to the 8. 8 of Cups is walking away. So you got the moon out. they're on the beach, which is all the emotion in the ocean there that you can imagine. And they've got their back turned and they're walking away from something that really meant a lot. At one stage, it meant a lot to them because the cups are all full. And whatever this situation is, and it's either a relationship, a job, where you once lived and grew up, and you've got to move away, and you're going to go somewhere else, or you want to move away. It's usually a bit sad that it's ending, but as you walk away, you sort of know that you're going to move on and go into, a better place and a better space. So that card's always fairly standardly, that's always the go with the 8. Nine of Cups. Well, the Nine of Cups is a celebration. You're sitting there, it looked like you're sitting in the table's high, up above you it's quite high, the table's quite high and full of alcohol. But it's a celebration, so it's like the ending, because it's a 9, it's the ending of a cycle, it's the end of something, and it's emotionally a high. So there's a celebration. A lot of hard work has paid off. It's one of those, you're patting yourself on the back. You see the body language of the little man there, how he's got his arms folded and he's got his legs spread, and he's sort of sitting there really like proud of himself and laughing. He's got a little bit of a laughy look on his face, jolly little look. And I think he's just waiting for everyone to turn up to start the party. Then you've got the 10 of Cups. Well, the 10 of Cups is the accompaniment, it's the ending, being it's the 10, it's coming up to that ending, and usually it's to do with the family or connections with family and friends, and it's a big celebration, like coming together, and putting on a bit of a do and having a bit of a fun time, and you're very happy. It's the perfection of the human heart is one of the in the book, what I read about it at the time. So that's perfection of the human heart, which is like a very happy, joyful card with lots of celebration. 9 and 10 were very similar, but one's personal, one's more family, because it's got the family and the kids dancing around. Then we go into what they call the court cards, and the court cards are the page, the knight, the queen and the king. And all 4 suits have these court cards. Page of Cups. Well, the page is a messenger. Usually he brings and is the type. He's dressed like a messenger, like a courtier or whatever they used to call them. They come into the court and bring the scrolls into the king. Well, this Page of Cups it's quite a jolly, and if you looked into, I think in the book work back in the day when you looked at this was very flamboyant, and I suppose you'd put them into that charismatic, nearly like a little bit of a showman. They're like, the way they're dressed, they're very effeminate, but I'd say he was just a bit flamboyant. But he's coming in, and it's a cup, it's a bit of energy or movement coming into your life or in around a situation, and he's to do with creativity and sort of intuition, or anything to do with something that lights you up a bit emotionally, like it's something that, and there's a little fish in this cup, and the little fish poking its head out there. It's a bit of a lucky situation, because the fish is always a little bit of luckiness, and there's the little fish in the cup there, that it's an offer coming in, so energy's coming into that part of the reading saying that there's an opportunity here. There's something to be explored, something to be looked at. It's just like it's coming in, walking into the situation. Whenever I see them in the read, they're walking in. Well, of course, the knight, he rides in, like the knight on the horse. Sorry, don't mind me. He's also bringing, that cup's a message. He's also bringing an energy and bringing that energy in. And he's usually in this, you can see he's actually got like fish or roses all on his armour. And it's usually an offer, and he's got the little wings on his helmet there, which is very much like, and on his heels too, like an Achilles, whatever those winged messengers. I'm just thinking Achilles, but I'm not sure if that's the right word now. But anyway, you get what I mean. He's bringing in an offer, and usually the Knight of Cups is to do with an offer of love. Not always, But it can be somebody comes and offers you something, and it is an emotional situation that they've been so kind and generous and loving that it really melts your heart a bit that they've come in with this offer and they've bought it in. And the Knights usually move a bit quicker. They move a little bit quicker than the Page. The Page's energy comes in, walking in. The Knight gallops in, so it comes in faster. So we've got the Queen. The Queen's sitting on a throne, and she's holding a cup, and it's quite a very, very fancy, decorated, ornate cup. And she's looking at it quite longingly and lovingly. So she's very much the emotional queen, is always, because at this point you're reading, well, I'm reading for general readings here, so I don't always depict this as a person, but she, in some readings, she can be a person, and it'd be your water signs like Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. I'm pretty sure, is that them? Yes. She's quite nurturing, quite motherly, quite, and this can not just have to be in those star signs, but it can be someone around you that has those qualities, and they're quite mothering. And it doesn't have to be a mother, it can be a friend that can be the Queen of Cups. And she's very emotional, you know, could be brought to tears, you know, just at just seeing somebody can make it cry, a bit of all that, a bit emotional, but within a balance, because as you can see, she's sitting on a throne there, and she's quite balanced and it's quite a solid big stone throne. So these people are mature, or they have a maturity about them. Doesn't mean that they're old or anything, just means that they've got a maturity or a mature way about them. And she, in a reading, can pop up when you're reading. It's just like not a person, if it's just a general vibe. She's very much to do with intuition and your gut feeling and trusting, and because of the maturity, you do trust your intuition, and you do trust when those inklings come up, or the signs or synchronicities pop into your life, you'll take note of them and follow them. So if you're doing a reading for yourself or for someone else, you've got to see what cards will be out around her that makes her shine her light whichever way she's going to go. So that's where it gets in a bit more. Every one of these paint a picture, so depending on the brush strokes at the time as to what sort of way she's going to look in the painting. But this is just scratching across these at the beginning, but as we go through the suits and get through all the major arcana, we'll come back and start putting these into spreads, and I'll start showing you how how all these cards can pop in and out and be where they end up going. Then we've got the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is quite a strong, very emotional man, but not a teary man. He's just very much in control. He's very much got his feminine side all in order. He's a fairly good balanced person. This is describing him as a man. If it was a person in your life, he's very balanced. He's not really loud, and he's not like flamboyant and dancing around like this Page is. You can see by the outfit he's got on, he's more regal and more sort of like quietly confident. But anyway, he definitely is to do with, if he's not a person, it can be to do with artistic endeavours, cinema, acting, movies, anything to do with fantasy. He sort of has a lot of that realm in him, because he's got quite a depth to him, because of the emotional side of him is quite balanced. He's got quite a depth to him. But when he comes in, he can sometimes come in and be like sitting, and he's sitting straight on facing you, like where she's sitting, like she's her thoughts in retrospect, she's looking within into that psychic side. He's looking straight at you and virtually sitting there with that cup, and he's very confident and very in control of the emotions, or it's becoming in control of the emotions and in control of the emotional of the situation. And again, depends where he turns up in the reading as to whether it's going to be a man or whether it's going to be his energy. You're going to be reading that energy in to say that this person's gotten control of their emotions, or again, it all plays into where it sits and how it all plays out. But that was a run through the cups, which was a bit of a quick run through. We just whizzed through them pretty fast, but the more you play with them and the more you keep putting them down and looking at them as they pop in and out and shuffle them, I would advise, if you're starting out, definitely just do upright. You can learn the reverse down the track, but to learn 78 cards and then all those 78 combinations as they come out in spreads or get put down on the table to be read gets very complicated very quickly. So that would just be a pro tip. I'd be just saying, if you're starting out, first timers, don't bother doing reverse just straight away. It'll all get there. You'll get there when it gets there. But that was the suit of cups.